Hello Seekers, welcome to Punneit Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. On 8th of April, Jupiter will enter the 4th pada of Revati Nakshatra. This is the final journey of Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. Then it will cross the boundary of the Gandantha and will move to Aries zodiac sign. It will start a new journey from Aries to Pisces on 22nd of April. So until then, Jupiter will remain in the 4th pada of Revati Nakshatra. Therefore, Jupiter will become Vargottama because Revati Nakshatra's 4th pada is Pisces Navamsha. Now because Jupiter will be entering this Gandantha, this is going to be a time where you will feel claustrophobic, you will feel restricted, but you will also feel mysteriously guided. That means you will see that there will be certain situations in your life that will trouble you. But if you are spiritual and if you are doing all the mantra jap and chanting, you will feel that guidance coming your way. One of the factor that affects this Gandantha movement is the presence of Sun very close to Jupiter. If you observe, between 11th and 13th of April, Sun will cross Jupiter and Sun will actually, it is like Jupiter will be at the heart of the Sun. Imagine Revati Gandantha's 4th pada, Sun being close to Jupiter, then Sun being very, very connected with Jupiterian energies. All this is coming in a very unique manner. This is the time when certain karmic knots or certain duties and responsibilities can be missed or overlooked if you always try to go by just your way. Sometimes my way or the highway is not going to work, and this is one of such times. This is the time when you will have to understand that there is always going to be a higher power or higher authority on you, no matter who you are. So this is the time to pray to the highest authority. So if you pray to Narayan by chanting Vishnu Sahasranam, by taking the name of Narayan, simply by saying Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, you will understand that slowly your soul and your wisdom will get connected. But there will be certainly certain people who will be more egoistic during this time because Sun is going to blind the wisdom while Jupiter is crossing the Revati Gandantha, which means what should be left behind and what should be carried forward, what you should forget and what you should receive, where your attention should lie and where you have to ignore and maybe park it for some time. That distinction will vanish, and that is where you will have to be very careful. Anyone who is extremely egoistic, anyone who is guided by, like a Rahuvian ego, then you will have to be very careful because the next step of both Sun and Jupiter is in Aries, where there is a solar eclipse, and then there is a Jupiter transit, and Aries is under direct impact of Saturn by third aspect of Saturn. So you will have to be very, very cautious, very, very careful. On the other hand, the Sun and Jupiter's Revati Gandantha transit, especially the Jupiterian Gandantha, because Jupiter will remain first in Revati Gandantha and then Jupiter will go in Ashwini Gandantha, because the first pada of Ashwini Nakshatra is also called Gandantha pada, because one pada or 3 degree 20 minutes before the Pisces ends and 3 degree 20 minutes after the Aries starts is called Gandantha zone. Actual Gandantha is going to be 48 minutes before and after, so it's a very small area, but we can consider the entire pada as Gandantha pada. In both cases, Jupiter will be Vargottama. Once Jupiter enters Aries, again it will go into Aries Navamsha, and in both cases Jupiter is very strong, but Jupiter is combust. And because Jupiter is combust, you will have to be careful from the areas of your horoscope that is guided and ruled by Sagittarius and Pisces. And if you are a Sagittarius ascendant, moon sign, Pisces ascendant, moon sign, Aries ascendant, moon sign, or Leo ascendant and moon sign, you will have to be very careful. If you are running the Mahadasha of Jupiter, Mars or Sun, you will have to be extra cautious. Financially, this is going to be a time where you might invest or create assets which is no longer useful later on, so be very careful. Hold yourself back. While you are planning to invest, you will always see that father or some higher authority will overpower you. Now, this is not the time to fight, rather this is the time to find a way out, because the more I will say the more inclusive you are, the more non-fighting you are, non-combatant you are, you will find a truce, you will find a way out. But the moment you start fighting, and if there is an ego involved, then Jupiter will not help you, because there will be certain decisions taken by individuals during this time that they will regret later on. You will realize that it was a mistake, and then it will be too late to recover. Also, you will have to be very careful with respect to your weight, especially if your Jupiter is negative in your chart. You will have to be very careful with ego, with taxation, with your assets, with properties. If you are marrying during this time, you have to understand first that this is the time period when if you marry, Jupiter, which is called the Karaka of marriage, is completely engulfed by the sun. So that is also something that might affect the marriage and relationship. If you're starting a new work during this time, especially when Jupiter will be in Gandantha, you will have to be very cautious, because that work that you're going to start, or that relationship that you want to build, any initiation that happens during this time will be karmic in nature, because Gandantha itself means end of a cycle and beginning of another cycle, and a lot of people will not even realize that a huge cycle ends in their life and a new cycle will begin. So you might be resisting the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle, but you will see this is exactly what will happen, and this is where the wisdom has to come into. And lot of this is the time when if you come in a group, if you discuss in a community, if you share your problems, sharing each other's wisdom will help the entire humanity and society as a whole, because this is the time when we have to function as a unit, not as an individual. So if you are having a problem, share it with some experts, take expert advice, and if you are an expert at something, and when you see somebody in problem, if they want to take an advice, try to be available as much as possible. Also, this is the time when there may be some natural changes which might affect productivity of the market. So you will have to know that the market is going to be volatile. There might be an artificial bubble, and if you are a market expert, if you want to invest, say, in real estate or gold, you will have to see through and think for the long term. Don't think for the short term. If you have a planet in Gandantha, then chanting Vishnu Sahasranam will actually help you burn out that karma. If Jupiter is in Gandantha in your birth chart, then definitely this Gandantha Jupiter will be aspecting your birth Jupiter. So therefore it is going to activate certain events in your life you were never expecting that. That cannot be predicted also, because that is coming from previous births and past lives. So a lot of prarabdha karma will open up during this time. And in certain cases, you will just have to live with that prarabdha karma. So it is better that you start burning out that prarabdha through seva, through good deeds, through mantra chanting, because Jupiter is what? Jupiter is divine knowledge. Also, when Sun and Jupiter are together, praying to Ma Mahasaraswati will help you a lot. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityur ma mritam gamaya, om shantihi shantihi shanti. If you just chant this shloka, it gives you that faith. So this is the true time when you have to seek the light. Once Jupiter enters Aries zodiac sign, after crossing that exact Gandantha point, Jupiter will immediately encounter the presence of Rahu. Jupiter comes out of combustion, it encounters Rahu, there is an eclipse, so lot will happen once Jupiter enters Aries zodiac sign. So for this entire month of April, you will experience dynamic events. So it is better to just ride the wave, prepare yourself. Sometimes it is said that hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That is exactly what you have to do. Not that the worst will happen, but it is better to be equipped and prepared. Take care of your health. You have to eat right. Try to be as natural as possible and try to be vegetarian, because eating sattvic food And in vegetarian also, don't eat too spicy food. Eating sattvic food will actually aid the digestion process, aid the metabolism, and it will help Jupiter to balance out the body. This is also the time when you have to release the toxins, so detoxify your body so that you can detoxify your liver. And also, if somebody is trying for a weight loss, this is the right time to focus there. At least you give it a try. And if you have an afflicted Sun, afflicted Jupiter like Rahu Jupiter, Rahu Sun conjunction in your birth chart, then any rectification or remedy done towards that will help you in the long run. Overall, this Gandantha Jupiter is the time when karmically the entire structure is such that there will be a lot of karmic events and karmic triggers. We just have to focus, and we should not refrain from acting, but then we should also not hope for the result. Be spiritual, be guided, because on one hand this seems to be a negative time, but there are other intentions, because planets like Sun and Jupiter are not our enemies. Just a quick and casual message that I wanted to share about this Gandantha Jupiter. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, namaste.